In this video, we will go over some words that are useful to have for silent heraldry because they come up frequently in conversation during court business. All, thing, everything, word, name, don't or not, should, must, same, you and I, different, people, activities, game, modern, lifestyle, dream, that. Let's go over those words in detail. The sign for all starts with your non-dominant hand out, then take your dominant hand, go down the front, and then flip to the back and pivot so that you're nesting your hands together like this. That's the sign for all. The sign for thing has your hands stacked, dominant hand closer towards your body, and you move sideways in a very short, quick motion. If you put those two signs together, you get everything. The sign for word is your non-dominant index finger touching your dominant index finger and thumb, like this. Think of the paragraph sign when you're working in a Word document and you show the hidden characters. This is kind of what the paragraph sign looks like, which is what that sign is mimicking for words. The sign for name is two H hand shapes that you stack, dominant hand on top, perpendicular to one another. The sign for don't or not is the same thing. Take your thumb under your chin and flick forward. The sign for should and must are also the same. It's a matter of severity. So the sign for should is an X that starts in front of you and flick it down. The sign for must is the same thing, only you do it much more strongly and use your facial expressions to show that must is more severe than should. The sign for same is your Y hand shape that moves back and forth between the things or people that are the same. You can do it towards yourself and another person. You can do it to objects or people that are somewhere in front of you. And the sign for you and I, which is a very specific version of the same, is start with a K hand shape, stretch it out a little bit, and then flip it so that your palm is up, and then do that same back and forth motion. And that is specifically for two people. The sign for different starts with your index fingers crossed like this, and then flick them apart. The sign for people is two P hand shapes that you either swing back and forth or move in circular motions. Both gestures are valid versions of the sign. They're just two different dialects. So you can go back and forth, you can circle, whichever is more comfortable for you to use. The sign for activities is two claw hands that you hold upside down and swing back and forth. The sign for game is two fists, thumb extended, bring them together, and then pretend that you are pressing buttons on a game console. The sign for modern, which we in the SCA will use to mean mundane, starts with the sign for today, so two Y hand shapes, palms towards yourself, bounce twice, and then make the sign for thing, except instead of brushing towards your dominant side, it brushes towards your non-dominant side, and you do that twice. So 2 bounces, 2 brushes. That's modern or mundane. The sign for lifestyle starts with a Y that faces out, bounce that once, change to an open palm, bounce that once, 2 L's, start down, and flip up towards your body. That's lifestyle. The sign for dream, which can be very useful in the SCA, which when we are talking about living the dream or being in service to the dream, starts by pointing to your head, pull that away into an X, and wiggle it as you pull further away from your head. And the sign for that, which is a useful generic conversation word, is again a Y hand shape, palm out, and push it in front of you. Let's go over those words again. All, things, everything, word, name, don't or not, should, must, same, you and I, different, people, activities, game, modern or mundane, lifestyle, dream, that. And there is your list of basic conversation words that will be useful in court conversation.